Hello everybody and welcome. So today's video is going to be about, is the government that we have right now in power in Canada legitimate? Is the Liberal government legitimate? Is the Liberal Party legitimate? I want to say, and many of us have been wanting to say this for a very long time and are saying this, and this is the time to say it, that it is not a legit party. I believe that the Liberal Party is a complete mockery to Canadian democracy, and this party needs to be disbanded. I believe, and the majority of us believe, that the liberal scene should be completely removed from Canadian politics. The party called Liberals should be removed from Canadian politics. It should be removed out of the sight of Canadians, and for very good reason. Because of this liberal image, whatever they want to call themselves, it's such a awful double speak, saying that they are liberal, that they are for liberty, when basically they've turned that word liberty or liberal into a complete mockery of what it actually means. And as a result, as Canadians and any other country that suffers with a similar government, as we have seen in Spain, as we have seen in Germany, as we have seen in France, as we have seen right now in the United States with the Democrats, any government that resembles the Liberals in Canada is a tyrannical government. It is a government that frauds elections, completely messes with our voting system, just makes a complete mockery of our democratic system. And basically it's like 1984 doublespeak, where yes means no, no means yes. It's awful, it's terrible, it is blatant, and we can all see it. This party, the Liberals, have to be disbanded from Canada. They have to be banned from Canada. And any ideas in the future that are brought upon to Canadians from any party that shares a similar views as the Liberals did in the past, as unfortunately we have them now in power, should be banned. It should be, I wouldn't say outlawed, but it should be banned. To have a prime minister compare every single protester for the Freedom Convoy as a Nazi, as a misogynist, racist, saying that, Nazi flags have no place, Confederate flags have no place in public sight, the way it was briefly seen in the beginning of that Freedom Convoy that is right now bringing justice for Canadians in Ottawa. And I stand behind that convoy 100%. And it's time. It's time. That convoy is I would say late in many senses. But man, this is what we got. And I am proud of these people. I am one of those proud supporters. I am a person who has taken to the streets and demonstrated along with the people who support this in Vancouver. And I am proud that I was able to do that. I was proud that I was able to go with my family and witness that and document that. But I am not proud of also being censored. And because of a government like this, because of governments like this, people like me, our ability to be artists, our ability to enjoy in the economy, to enjoy in freedom of speech and freedom of expression, quite frankly, has been taken away from us. And on my channel, I have been violated in so many ways. My free speech, my ability to share, my channel basically just shadow banned. And it's completely awful that even a person like me, because I have views for freedom, because I have views as an immigrant for freedom in this country, that I get banned in such a way. And I get prevented from being able to be seen from my fellow Canadians, from people around the world. Basically being trolled by the system, not allowed to have my points of views go forward. To the point where I have to literally demonstrate on the street, where I have to make DVDs, give them to people personally. I have to make community meetings, basically, so that I can get my point across, so that I can have my voice heard, so that I can have my art presented to other people. All the time and effort that has just been wasted in the past decade me trying to express myself. People like me, the majority of us. And that's what the Freedom Convoy represents, is all the voices that were getting stuffed out by this style of government that we have right now. And enough has been enough. This liberal system are just trolls in our society. And there is no place in our country for people to be waving Nazi flags like that. Absolutely. They shouldn't be waving Hitler's reign of past terror in our faces. But you know what, guys? Neither should we be seeing Antifa and BLM and people holding up the hammer and sickle of communism in the face of people protesting. Antifa coming out with bricks and hitting people in the face, causing bodily harm onto people while they're waving these communist flags. If people don't understand, and this is, I believe, part of the reason why I get censored, is because there is a large Marxist movement right now in our country, all over the West, that is no different than what Hitler did. In fact, I would say that they are worse. But the thing is that they are not publicized as being even remotely close to what Hitler did. And the thing is that we put the blame on that swastika, of course. We don't need that in our country. But to have the symbols of Marxism flying in the face of our children, in the face of our citizens, the flag of communism should not exist anywhere. No logo of communism should exist anywhere in this country. In fact, communism, just like Nazism, all its symbols should be absolutely banned. Because communism represents, I believe, I know this for a fact when I study history, communism represents a far more dark terror than Hitler could have ever caused in his short reign of terror. Communism was here way before Hitler, during Hitler, way after Hitler, and to this day, countries are still terrorized by communism, where people disappear into labor camps and are never seen again. Entire populations disappear into those labor camps and are never seen again. And to have a political party like the Liberals represent that, fund things like Antifa, while they come here and say that, hey, anything that remotely resembles Hitler or Confederacy or anything like that is unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. But even more unacceptable is that they say that, which I stand behind 100%, well, waving the flags of communism and allowing that to be seen by our people in the way that it is. While these people, these terror groups is what they are, extreme radical groups that should immediately be persecuted, should immediately be found in our country and disbanded like you wouldn't believe. And all those people who push those movements be held accountable, including our politicians, needs to be held accountable. And I'm just telling you, I've had enough of censorship, of being censored in that opinion. Like I come from a country where that was a risk, where our soldiers fought on the street against people who were trying to spread these movements, where people lost their lives to bombings, murders, like you wouldn't believe. I'm talking about in the millions back in South America where I came from. And to this day, because of governments like this, those groups, those terrorist groups, are now trying to take over government. And government in Chile, government in all over South America, even Central America, where kids, youth, all sorts of people to this day are losing their lives, being murdered, disappearing, massacred in the name of communism, and people fighting it. I come from a country where people get kidnapped for that. People disappear. I immigrated here. My family immigrated here for a better future, so that we wouldn't have to see symbols of communism coming out of a forest, out of a jungle, and kidnapping our people, blasting our people with their bombs and their terrorism. And to think that when I speak like this, I am called a far right-wing extremist, and I am censored as so. That is unbelievable. It brings tears to my eyes. It brings tears to my family's eyes. And the thing is that growing up in this country, I have experienced racism, so many bad things. But I didn't blame the populace. I didn't join some radical movement. What I did is I used my voice. I went to the schools. I took the abuse. And I bid my time. And one day I found YouTube and I began to speak. And from the very beginning, getting censored by personalities like this. Personalities just like Justin Trudeau. Personalities like Antifa. Coming and trolling us. Because we are speaking out for the truth. That's the truth. This liberal government represents tyranny. It represents genocide. To me, it represents one of the greatest fears I've ever had in my life. And that is to see a Marxist movement take foothold the way it has in Canada. Or at least the idea of it. Have people, as some sort of joke, buying buildings that were owned by prestigious Marxists in this country. Where Antifa is doing that. Burning down our churches, our places of belief. That's what Marxism targeted. Like Nazism targeted Judaism, which is wrong, and there's a lot more to that. What did communism target? It targeted Christians. Hundreds of millions of Christians. About 100 million people in Russia alone were run through concentration camps. When you read the novel 1984 or watch that movie, you're going to see that, hey, they may be talking about fascism. That's communism. Getting shot in the back of the neck and sitting there in front of your oppressor who just shot you in the back of the neck while you're looking up, squirming for your life, choking on your own blood, on a paralyzed body, dying. That is a reality that people suffered under communism. And I came from a country where millions of people have bled fighting that or fighting for that. That's serious. And to be censored. To be censored. I said, hey, please share my video. People say, I share your video, but they don't seem to go anywhere. It's not about views, guys. It's not about money. It's not about publicity. It's the fact that a Canadian citizen in this country tries to share his point of views and he is censored. And in government, we are called far right-wing extremists. I am sickened by the Prime Minister that we have. And to think that I was one of the voices that said, hey, we've seen the Conservatives for long enough. Maybe we should give this guy a platform. I was one of the persons that advocated for Justin Trudeau to have a chance. Yes, I am ashamed of that. I regret it. And if you want to blame me for that, go ahead. Go ahead, I regret it. I feel like a traitor for that. But I did not know. I believed this man's lies and this man's BS. I never supported Antifa. I never supported BLM for what it is. I've supported black lives trying to have a voice. I understand that there is a situation that was happening in the United States and a lot of history with African Americans. I stood behind that. As a person speaking Spanish, as a person who's been discriminated, I stood behind that. But I stood behind everybody's voice and everybody's opinion. Understanding, growing up in a country, seeing all opinions, seeing people's fears, why they even had racism. Towards me, my language, my name being Fernando. You know how many times I've been insulted, called a spit, called all sorts of things, punched in the face, attacked for that by ignorant people. And I bid my time. I still made my friends. I still had my patience. I still gave forgiveness. In the name of Jesus Christ, I gave forgiveness when I didn't want to many times. When I wanted revenge and justice many times, I said no. To this day, this day, to this day, here I am, still saying no. I'm not going to allow myself to be radicalized, to be a hateful person, just so I can get my identity across. And I see that right now in the United States, blaming the immigrants, this and that. Oh, the border. I see people saying, hey, if we killed more immigrants crossing the border, it'd be easier. Do you know what that does to me? And still I don't stand behind Antifa and BLM, because I know that it is a terrorist movement. Just like I don't stand behind any far right-wing radical movement and have a Nazi flag behind me when I'm speaking to you. I don't do that. And I'll never support left-wing radical movements, especially when they've gone unchecked. No, there's no especially or special circumstances. Absolutely not. The only people I've ever supported that seem moderately like they got a bit of a radical point of view is this freedom convoy, which is not radical. That is peace and love. That is far more than some hippie leftist movement or some far right-wing, that's the truth right there. Those are real people. And to think that we are called misogynist, racist, all this, Nazi, flag-bearing, Confederacy, are you kidding me? That's the truth, guys. What's my problem? You just heard it. But I'm fighting. The positive way, the only way I know how. The way I've been taught as a Canadian. If I fought the way people did in my country, it would be a different story. But people in my country, the only reason why they've seen violence, bombs and death like that, is because when they tried using their democratic voice, they got shot in the head. They got kidnapped. They got hauled off to holes where they've never been seen again. And to this day, in places like China, people disappear for just being free. And to think that we got a prime minister that says, I love the way China does things. If we just did things more the way China did things. Well, you sponsor those groups while our churches are burnt to the ground, blaming our faith for the crimes of this government onto First Nations people. Why? Because they're using what? These churches as a front? Oh, it's the fault of religion now. It's the fault of our faith. You go read the Bible and you tell me, where does it say you do this to people? I immigrated to this country. My family immigrated to this country for a better future. And what have we fallen into? Another tyranny. Another situation. Another gong show. Another left versus right. Wanting blood. But no, it's not the right that wants blood. It's the left. These Marxist movements that want to see our people persecuted. I see some person come up trolling this freedom convoy on the messages, on the comments on a video, on a live, saying, oh, I wish all Canadians burn for what they've done to Russia and Pakistan and Indian people. What has Canada done to Indian people? Not First Nations, but people. He was talking about people from Pakistan or India. What has Canada done right now? Canada has done a lot to give people a better place to be. Not only a better place to be for good people, but also bad people. In fact, bad people are getting more a better place to be here, where they can bring their drugs, their gun running, their crimes, while our Prime Minister talks about limiting lawful gun-owning Canadians. Making it hard for someone in a bush where they live around bears to own a shotgun for their own defense. Where, oh, there's a bear, he's about to kill me, but hey, you know what? In the name of protecting what? I got mauled by a bear and I couldn't defend myself. What is it really against? When he has a government that is like the Chinese government, wanting to disarm people. And not just criminals actually doing this. They're blaming it on lawful gun owners from the actions of criminals that are having this come in through illegal gun running. People who are buying actual little weapons of mass destruction and committing murders with it. Unregistered weapons. Well, you're going after people who are lawfully buying weapons. Not weapons, tools, hunting rifles. I'm not going to get into that. But I'm just saying these are some of the elements that this government's hypocritical. It's 1984. Read that novel. I'm not a fan of that. I don't think that's cute. That was a cute little book. Hey, this is a symbol of freedom. Look at this, so that we shouldn't be like this. This is a real telling of history. I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud that I look into the history and see what Marxism did to so many countless lives. To see what Hitler did to so many countless lives. And fighting against Marxism and all those radical ideas that were happening in Europe. Why? Because certain systems needed to clear out farmers. They needed to bring in the ID system we have today. So wars needed to happen. Yeah, guys, believe it. A lot of our movements for freedom and all this stuff, especially when they come from the words of people like Justin Trudeau, it's not about freedom. It's about taking away our freedom and installing more of their power. We don't know who these people are and who their families are. Our government is in the back pocket of tyranny. To this day, on our coins, we still got the Queen's head. All our land is owned by who? Who owns our land? Who manages our land? While they're saying that, hey, we got to protect the forest on private property. Not even private property. Freehold tenures. Where people own a little bit of land rights. Not even ownership of their land. They don't even got those land rights respected. There's a lot of issues happening right now in Canada. And this government, because of this liberal government, or whatever you call it, I will never, most likely will never own a home in this country. I own land. But even then, I have to fight so I can do something with that land. I have to meet a bunch of requirements and a bunch of laws just to build a little home. Just to even use the land. Where they can come and say, oh, well, this road's not legal, that road's legal, but hey, we can bring the forestry and cut all your wood down and maybe give you a little bit of chump change on it. And you know what? We're still going to tax you on that. Oh, you can't use your land? You can't live on this? If you're going to live on that, you got to do that? What is this, an auction? Selling me my land rights for the proper price? Okay, we immigrate here. We deal with it. We face it. We pay for it. Okay, we buy land. Let's go start a farm. Let's just take a break. Let's nurture our family. No! You gotta live in the top 2 most expensive places on the planet. Number 2 and number 5, Toronto and Vancouver. You want to go anywhere else? Okay, good luck. It's gonna be really hard. You're gonna need a lot of money to get there. That's what Canadians are dealing with today. The average price of a home is $800,000. Or the option of a condo, what? For an arm and a leg still. For no freedom. For strata. For tax up the butt. Some of us here are taxed more than 40%. Oh, the lower income you get, you're still messed over. You want to make more money? You want to have progress in this country? Well, you know what? We're going to bring you right down for it. That is unbelievable. That is what we face as Canadians right now. Under this liberal government, under this liberal of what? Liberal tyranny? Huh? The right to have free tyranny? Huh? The right to have liberty under tyranny? No, we shouldn't be living like this. It's not we shouldn't be living like this. We don't have to live like this. And then what, I have to feel guilty for saying, hey, look, what's all that crown land doing? What are we doing with all that crown land? What are we doing? What's going on here? What is this about? It's over. I don't support the system we have right now. And another thing, I've been seeing a lot of the opinions coming from Quebec. And a lot of these liberals are coming from Quebec. Quebec that has had a separatist movement for the longest time. And I'm going to tell you, if there's hateful people that hate the rest of Canada, that are willing to cause damage onto the rest of Canadians, just so that they can be recognized or have what they consider their cultural freedom, well, all us count as immigrants are coming here and being used in that battle. If that's what Quebec represents, you know, having people like Justin Trudeau come in who just troll us as Canadians, have people say, well, you know what? Well, out here, we do it way better than out there. You know, we crushed our protesters much better than they did in Ottawa. Because in Quebec, we're smart, right? We handled it so much better. I've been hearing some of these opinions from the Liberal cabinet. Some people who don't even want to address us in English, just want to speak French and say, you know what, the rest of Canada and how they are and how they behave and this and that, well, there's a separatist movement. I'm just going to say, hey, you know what, everybody deserves to have their culture. If Quebec wants to do their thing, I respect that. But there was a certain point when I said, hey, you know what? Quebec, I'm proud of Quebec. I'm proud that we have Quebec. I'm proud that we have the French sector. And more that I see this come from the Liberal, it's bringing division, even within myself, away from the Quebec scene. Literally, if there's people that are coming from that region who hate the rest of Canada and don't mind trolling and hurting us in Canada, don't mind doing this with their government, don't mind making it hard for the rest of us, quite frankly, I don't think we need that. I think, quite frankly, that should go its own separate way. But you're not taking New Brunswick with you. You're not taking other regions of Canada with you. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this division being brought within our hearts. Seriously, if there's people out there in other provinces that hate the rest of Canada, like elements that are willing to take up power in politics to troll and hurt us, that should be disbanded as well. Or it should be finally looked at and checked. I'm sick of this. I've immigrated to Canada with my family to many times want to leave. And that's what it's been. Many people I've talked to who are full-blooded Canadians that have been here for generations tell me, I want to leave this country. It's too expensive to live. The ideology is messed up. What they're teaching our kid in school is even more messed up. We have no freedoms. Our kids are dropping out of school. They don't like this. They don't feel free. I don't feel free. And to think that I have to hear people say, I immigrated to this country for a better future, and I don't see one. I see the same oppression that I left. That's what I see under this Liberal government, is oppression. It's hard for me to say this. A lot of people are probably going to say, who is this guy? You know how hard it is for me to say that? Look at how I speak English. I speak English almost without errors. I got impairments. I have to try really hard. But I speak English without many errors. That's how much dedication I've put into this culture. Losing my own identity many times, my own self. Feeling guilty of who my name is, where I come from, my language. I speak Spanish. I feel guilty. Because we had some Spanish-American war, because immigrants are crossing the border in the United States. It's like, guys, you know, little minorities, we have our own struggles for identity. And we got to wait until all these people, all these Antifas, the right-wing radicals, as they call them, we got to wait until they're done for us to get justice. I got to wait for BLM to be done so that maybe I can get some recognition. I got to wait for the First Nations to be done to get some recognition. I have to be quiet. I have to be humble. Si, señor. Si, señor. No. That's despicable. If I've come to this country and I want to have a farm. I want to have a farm. I want to do agriculture. Before, I wanted to be an artist and paint and make YouTube videos and document all of Canada. I've been disheartened to the point where I'm like, I just want to have a farm. That's it. I just want to go back to my ancient roots and just put my hands in the dirt. Just put my head in the dirt if I can. And just dig. Just dig. Just bring out some ears of corn and eat, make some flour, pay my taxes. What's wrong with that? I can't even leave the damn cities because of these problems. How expensive it is. Oh, this and that. Oh, you got to do this. You got to do that. Oh, you might be able to start it when you're like 50. Unbelievable. Everybody in Canada should know what a homestead is. Everybody in Canada should be able to build a cabin and know what it is like. Everybody. Yet, we can't even build our own house. We can't even live in our own apartment without being one day told to move on because we can't afford it. How many people have lost their jobs? Look at this division. Do you hear me, guys? I get censored. Censored. I gotta put these videos on DVD. Okay, and I gotta have community meetings with my family, with my friends, with people that I know. I have to sit on the side of a street to preach my opinion because I get censored. Well, this Antifa, well, there's liberal, well, there's this, even the extremists that they say they're against have a platform. But I can't even have a platform as a regular person. That's enough. And still I try. Still I put my part in. That's why the Freedom Convoy, these people have done that. You don't know how much hope a lot of us lost until these people did what they did. Those are not just these people. These are our people. This is us. What GoFundMe did to these people. To us. Taking our freedom away like that. That's enough. Guys, it hurt me to make this video. Today, I feel like 5 years older. My heart skipped a couple of beats. But that's enough. Yes, I believe that the liberal government should be absolutely disbanded and outlawed in this country. Any idea of that, that's Hitler. This is Hitler right here with this guy. This is Stalin right here. This is what it is. This is your dictator, guys. This is right here. This is what we're experiencing in Canada right now. This is it. And they're calling, and the way they support these Marxist ideologies. No. You guys immigrated here for freedom. Many of you grew up here upholding that freedom. Men and women who have died in service protecting this freedom. I respect you. I stand with you. But I do not stand with this liberal government, this hypocrite, this liar. Out with you, Justin Trudeau. In fact, you should be put before a tribunal and tried. Thank you very much.